Plunged into an environment of elf intelligence.
It's always a matter of who you are and who you think you will be. You're not supposed to answer to this question.
1, 0. Nothing.
Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. When I step up in the place, say yo, I step correct. Got you all in check. I got that head nod shit that make you break your neck. I got you all in check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air, don't ever disrespect. I got you all in check. Bust the rhymes up in the place. True indeed. Yes, I catch wreck and that's word on my seed. I'm guaranteed to give you what you need. One blood, everybody like Junior Reed. Wake up every morning, yo, I must succeed. Nationwide rockers make the world stampede. Yo, Willie, make we roll some weed. Man, charge, nigga, now I must proceed. Yo, we about to make moves, set speed. These two baby five Q-tip, Ali Shaheed. Watch me knock you out like Apollo Creed. Body blows, busting your shit, making you bleed. Just feed off dynamic flows and take heed. Need more information, homeboy, they just read. Hey, you can read all about the pure breed. Do the vocal, that's my duty if I see. When I step up in the place, then yo, I step correct. I got you all the check. I got that head nod shit that make you break your neck. I got you all the check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all the check. Throw your hands up in the air and never disrespect. I got you all in check. How dare you ever try to step on my suede shoes? Time gun shut down your front like Tom Cruise. Please, let me get down and blow a fuse. Acting fools, breaking shit down to molecules. Yo, let me hit you with my ill street blues. Bust the rhymes, always headlines, the street news. Baby girl, don't be confused. Sell my 7 seats and enjoy my own cruise. I know you really wanna know who's coming through, leaving blood stains and residues. Sorry, homeboy, but your flow sound used. Got to pay your dues, baby, you know the rules. Whenever I travel the world, I land cruise. If you choose to fuck around, you get bruised. Now I got new gas on super unleaded fuels. Give me room, give me some space, your excuse. When I step up in the place, they go, I step correct. But I got you all in check. I got that head nod shit that make you break your neck. But I got you all in check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. But I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air and never disrespect. But I got you all in check.
You're now rocking with the best. Bust the rhymes coming through from the Flip Mode Squad. Boy Scouts who I be, straight to your dome. We coming straight to your dome, bringing all you rockers to all you rap motherfuckers. Boy Scouts who I be, Flip Mode is the squid dog. Bust the rhymes, break it down like this.
Yo, which motherfucker stole my dough? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Throw them type of niggas right out my window. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Coming through like G.I. Joe. Star Wars moving ill like Han Solo. Make you bounce around like this was Calypso. Always shine cause I got the high pro glow. You think that you can hide, you think you can lay low. Roll up on your ass like Hawaii 5-0. Mac out with my joints in my Kango. Forget the moment, nigga, just pass the Cisco. Yo, take a trip down to Mexico. Come back with that shit that might make you psycho. Maximum frequency studio stereo. Sorry, this is it, but homeboy, I got to go. I got step up in the place and yo, I step correct. Got you all in check. I got that head nod shit that make you break your neck. I got you all in check. Hey, you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air and never disrespect. I got you all in check. Boy Scout, on the chest.
Welcome to the Machine Live. Yeah, blessings. Welcome to the Machine Lives, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And there's only one way to do this thing. And that's what we're about to do. Talk about the technological society. And I'm going to say what's going on to the people in the chat. Looks like I don't have a plate here for this cookie. So we'll have to hold the cookie. Yeah, Nico Pluto's in. Really appreciate you, Nico. Nico, however you say it. Blessings, brother. Blessings, Calix. All right. Yeah, man. I appreciate you. A lot of people have been speculating about your absence in the Discord. So yeah, man, come holler at us, man. I gotta send. I don't know if you hopped out of that. Yeah, we got a lively community in the Discord. Lots of interesting angles. And yeah, blessings, Little Wing. I greatly appreciate your time. Lizard Tree. I greatly appreciate your continued support. Thank you so much for watching. Blessings. And peace be with you guys. Yeah, salute. Yeah, blessings, brethren. Greatly appreciate your time and your continued support for the channel and the material, your constant engagement and correspondence with the show materials. I mean, that's what this thing is all about. Very great stuff. Obviously, we got the co-host, Reddington. You know, what's been going on, my brother?
Not much.
Not much. I appreciate your time. And yeah, taking seriously some of what I'm putting down here. And yeah, man. All you guys. It's great to see you guys. You tell me. Blessings, brother. Thank you for being here with us. I greatly appreciate your time and effort trying to engage with the material here. Yeah, exactly, man. I greatly appreciate you. Yeah, that mixes flames. Fucking glitch hop remix of Busta Rhymes. Can't nobody do it like this. It is what it is, man. Motherfuckers, I mean, the whackness is spreading like a plague. And yet we persist on just a whole nother we got a whole nother schema for our shit. And it's just different.
I was just looking at the title of your Wednesday show right now.
Oh, whoops. Did I have a different title? Or?
No, I just thought of it because it's something I was talking about on another panel. And something I was talking about to someone in my comments, one step forward, two steps in Babylon. Because I tell people the foundation for why we have these authorities or these people building the centralized technological system is because we have this ancient belief that comes from Babylon that has perpetuated itself, that always comes out as something like people need to be guided because once you get a lot of people, it gets too chaotic and they need to order the chaos of the people. So this is where you get bureaucracy and stuff like that from. And that's going back into Babylon. That's, not changing a dang thing about civilization and just building around the central thesis of civilization.
Yeah, I'll try to cue you guys in on this thing here. It's actually from a song by Max Romeo. So I don't think I could appropriately explain it unless I play the entire song. So goes the travails of our life and times. And will it not even connect? Son of a bitch. I remember this does not connect if you put it in the wrong USB drive. Oh no, it does. It does. Okay, let me pull this up for you guys because one step forward, two step backward. And no offense to our friend Hyperborean. We have a friend who is a patron of Nimrod in the tower, but he's got a different view of things. He thinks it's more like, it's kind of like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? So it's like
I
a tree.
understand his view.
Yeah. It's a tree instead of a tower and all this stuff. So
No, he thinks it's a tower. He thinks it's the same tower. He thinks it's Borsippa.
Yeah, but it also has to do with some type of tree where there's Shambhala on top of the tree, and so this is what he's told me, and
yeah, there probably is some sort of allegorical meaning to something else.
Might be, yeah. Not really sure. Either one of us could be right. To be quite honest,
I think we both are.
Sagimon.
Twilight Zone in this bitch. You know how it goes. But yeah, we got Gabriel Carbo, one of the OGs. Thank you for being here, man. Big brother. What's up? TML Lizard Tree, you tell me. Yeah, man. What's going on, man? I appreciate you. Only 5 years left? He almost fooled me with a tranny earlier, man. I think we can't say that out loud, but he sent me this video. I can't say out loud what it's about. We're making fun of somebody online.
Ruh-roh.
And I took a look at it. I didn't look at the video. I didn't play the video. And then I took another second look at it. I'm like, whoa, that girl's too big. She's like twice as big as the dude that she's in a relationship with. And I was like, that's actually a dude. But yeah. So yeah, sad trombone on that one. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I see the numbers spiking up as I talk about this, so I hope
That's wild.
I hope this doesn't leave a stain on my permanent record here. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Coffee, cookies, and a song. Exactly. Blessings to you. Denise, I greatly appreciate you. Alchemos, I greatly appreciate your time, man. Nico Pluto. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun. My wife's in the chat. That's always good luck. You got the wife in the chat. That's always a good luck time. That means the stream's about to go good. All right. Got the wifo in the chat. Always makes a great difference. One of the things I love to do is pray with my wife. That is one of the huge blessings in this world. Right? That is one of the greatest moments I've ever had. I love to pray with my wife. And that is one of the things. Moments. Powerfulmoments.com. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, man. So yeah, Nico Pluto Set Scales, one of the OGs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, blessings, guys. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got the homie here, SB. Who's SB? But yeah, blessings, brother. Oh, Shadow Buddha's in the chat. Yeah, man. Blessings, brother. Almost didn't shout out the homie Shadow Buddha. I greatly appreciate you. Alrighty then, let's get it popping here. With some things. Oh yeah, let me play the song. One Step Forward. You know what I mean, and I think you guys might like it. I think it loops, so maybe I'll just play the first verse. I'm not sure, but yeah. And then the second line is by Sun Ra, you know, right? So we'll explain it.
Ooh yeah, ooh yeah,
Oh yeah.
na 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 na. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, na 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 na. One step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon, one step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon, one day you are dreadlocks. Well, dread. Next day you are ballad. Clean shape, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon. Are you a commercialist? Grabbing at the cash box. This is the time of decision. Tell me what is your plan, yeah. Onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon. Straight is the road that leads to destruction. Oh yeah, the road to righteousness is narrow. Let me tell you, say, indictive feelings ain't appealing. The truth is a fact. Tell me, are you a con man? Or are you a dreadlock? Hey, one step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Na 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 na. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Na 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 na. The road is rough and the hill is steep. And let me tell you, say, the mountain is high and the valley is deep. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon, one step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon, one step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Let me tell you, say, let me tell you, say, na, 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 na.
So that's the song. And I know maybe some people left because of that, but it is what it is. But yeah.
I don't think anyone left, or I don't know. The chat's lively.
Maybe not.
Really. But that refocused the whole stream towards the title. And now we know where it comes from.
Oh yeah, one step forward, two step backward in a Babylon. One step forward by Max Romeo is what you guys just heard. It's a critical reggae tune that, and also Max Romeo, I believe he also made "I Chase the Devil." You know, so if you guys haven't heard "I Chase the Devil," poof, it's one of the top reggae songs ever made. Right? You know, and yeah, so Max Romeo is critical reggae artist. Sun Ra is a critical jazz artist. He's composed a poem where he says the light of the future casts the shadows of tomorrow. So there's this two ideas of one going into the future as actually going backwards. It's not progress, it's backwards, right? So it's the idea of regress instead of progress, which is a major idea in this show. And the second idea that the light of the future, sometimes our visions of the future can create forgotten worlds that create shadows of new tomorrows to emerge, right? So this idea of both the archaic revival of the great age of the past and then the forgotten futures that influence the future time frame, right? So you have different ideas of the past invading the future and the future invading the present, right? And therefore time being disjointed, right? So we have this type of conceptual framework in which we question the notion of history, we question the notion of time as a metaphysical sort of consistency, right? So obviously people are well aware of this idea. And of course, the main idea is to bring under the spotlight this notion of progress, right? Now, if you can question the metaphysical notion of time and you can question the concept of history itself, then, you know, what about this notion of progress, right? Well, what about that concept, right? And it seems to be a lot of holes, right, in that synthesis, right? In the synthesis of that things are progressing, right? So I've largely formulated this, you know, these two juxtaposed ideas, and it also has to do with the ideas of, you know, between this notion of, you know, you know, how this notion of being and becoming gets transformed to chaos and emergence in a greater synthesis of, you know, you know, the progression of, you know, concepts that are sometimes metaphysical, sometimes religious, sometimes philosophical, sometimes scientific, right? But of course, all of these paint a picture, right?
I think all of these things, there's like that metaphor about the blind people touching the elephant. So I think all these things describe the same realm that we exist in. The problem is that people want to say that only what their particular discipline or their authoritative body or whatever it might be is correct, and then everyone else is wrong. But it's like, no, we're looking at constants, invariant properties, and invariant just means things that never change, across cultures. And we just have different languages and ways of explaining these things. And what science does today is really, it just strips away the life and maps it out on a line or a linear fashion so that they can produce accurate predictions and machines that do work in the scientific sense. And work just basically means you take energy, you put it into something, and that thing makes moves because of the energy. And that's how they treat us. You know, that's how they treat people. They just want us to do work.
Yeah, that's another key part of the synthesis, right? Is this idea that, you know, on a certain degree, right, there's a false dialectic that's been placed between science and religion, right? So I have sort of elucidated this. I think this is part of the game of progress, right? Is that they want to say that there's some sort of cutoff point in history, right? So now you have all of these various ideas, right? You have religion, right? You have philosophy, right? You have science, right? And you have history involved in this sort of debacle, right? And that's why I say that these are sort of architectonic, right? Because they create the other arts or disciplines. And in that sense, they comprise unique instances of correspondence, like for example, right, the philosophical and religious modes, okay, they are sort of brought up to date with the science, and so on and so forth. The scientific mode sort of encapsulates all of the understanding of the sort of religious and philosophical modes, and the idea of religion or philosophy are seen as sort of supporting, playing a supporting role, within the scientific enterprise. And of course, the main way that history tells us that this happened was that there was philosophers, not scientists, right? Philosophers. Okay, and these philosophers basically discovered these ideas, like for example, natural law and logic and math, and they developed these things, right? And they developed the understanding of these things. First, they had to prove that these things are actual, right? They had to prove that numbers and logic and these things are um, actual properties of nature, right? Which I think that they failed to prove, right? So they just sort of assumed it, right? This is like Kant, right? They just said, well, we can't prove it, so we'll just assume that space and time are real, right? And that these are two divisions of nature, right? And so on and so forth. And they developed a, I think, what the ancients called sort of gross materialism, right? In their understanding of what they called the cosmos, right? And of course, they've limited it to just the cosmos, right? And they've limited their understanding to matter within the cosmos, right? And where does the matter exist in the cosmos? Well, it exists within a void, right? So we're sort of back to square one, where as long as we don't explain the origin of the universe, we can, as you said, develop this linear progression or understanding, right? That where we got to, these, this sort of gross, materialism, and it also corresponds with the state, right? Because what was the precursor of these sort of religious modes was the understanding that we could create this machine that speaks for man. And this machine that speaks for man was to be an embodiment of the collective spirit. And Hegel basically says that this collective spirit moved as the sort of spirit of world history through the cunning of reason to establish the apotheosis of the state, the divination of this state that man created, and it becomes a replacement for God, essentially, right? So the state as an idol, and of course the state representing monotechnics and the mega machine, right, being placed as the sort of idol of man, as the sort of basis for man's ultimate achievement. And of course, this is still the goal of the transhumanists, right? They still want to merge the state with the scientific enterprise and create the philosopher scientist that Francis Bacon dreamed of, right? And this is the vision of progress, right? And of course, it is a stale vision, right? One that is circular in its goals, has no purpose for man, and you can design the whole thing. It's better suited to a world without man, right? And their entire enterprise, right? And many people have pointed that out, and yet it's supposed to be the greatest enterprise known to man. But the motives and goals of these scientists, right, largely questionable at this point, right? As the goals of the religionists, right? The people that are largely, they either want the system to end, want to bring about a brutal end to the system so that they can bring about a religious sort of utopia or something like that, or so they accept that this is a fulfillment of events, right? So they are largely in the camp that they totally accept this understanding in some sort of pseudo eschatological scheme, right? And then there's the other ones that sort of just merge their religion with modernism, and they're along for the ride. Sorry to cut you off, Dom. You were going to say something.
If you just examine Hegel's idea of the Geist and the spirit that powers the engine of history, or however he describes it, it's basically just the collective egregore of basically human inferiority that needs to give themselves over to the machine, which acts as the software that powers the machines. And, we're the power source. And then we just keep feeding this egregore. And
yeah,
that to me is the demiurge.
Yeah, and there could be sort of something that develops, as described by Samuel Butler and others, that there's a sort of intelligence that springs up apart from nature and apart from man, and it slowly develops, and it actually first developed in the animal kingdom, which is the sort of mechanical expression. And of course, this thing sort of parasitizes on humanity in a way to totally sort of separate it from nature, and then cause man to create the sort of vehicle for his own destruction, right? Sort of catalyzing and and embodying his more destructive tendencies, right? And of course, the idea of rationality, sort of aggression, sort of numbness to the environment, and this sort of capacity that a machine has, the lack of an ability to grow, right, and change, right, but the ability to replicate itself. It doesn't, have the ability to um, improve itself, right? It has to create a better design of itself, right? And replicate itself, and so on and so forth. And this is the improvement of the machine, is not based on sort of growth and sort of reliance on nature to supply that growth. And it's not based on a tactic of sort of creating more of itself, right? So what it does is try to assimilate various forms of techniques under one umbrella, right? And this is different from nature, right? nature, okay, a you know, a particular you know, process could be used for a multiplicity of ends, right? Whereas all technical processes are limited to one end or function or purpose, right? So this idea of complexification of means to get to a particular end rather than simplification of means to get to a plethora of ends, right? Where it totally destroys this process in nature and this process of sort of compartmentalization, replication, assimilation, you know, dictates its own value systems, right? Its own, you know, political systems. It uses nature and man in a way that is totally unnatural, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I consider that a sort of, you know, in the form of the Gnostics, right? A sort of demiurgic, you know, force that we can equate to maybe the jinn or some sort of thing, because the jinn is a sort of smokeless fire, right? So we could see how certain jinn could use technology as a sort of transport vessel, right? And a smokeless fire, sort of electricity, you know, in terms of they could use electricity in order to travel, right? You know, via magnetism and you know, so it seems like you know, them being in our devices and then creating vectors within the human, right? By ingesting all sorts of metals and plastics, right? That you create vectors within yourself to allow certain spirits that are unclean to come into you, right? And then they hold up camp there, and you know, and they allow you to take on all sorts of destructive habits to go against your family and all that type of stuff. And you know, and once they're done using you, right, you have been a benefit to nothing else except for the system, right? And you know, yeah, you're a crash test dummy, just like a lot of these accelerationist cowards, right? So yeah.
Sounds kind of like plasma.
Oh yeah, but I think plasma, I see it as largely a positive thing, you know what I mean, or something that
Right.
you know, some sort of creative aspect of nature that is that you know, you can't touch with you know, purely material range of you know, of manipulation, right? So yeah.
You were gonna say something, Tom?
Yeah, because you bring up this is basically what my entire framework's about. It's about how you have these egregores and you have these ancient people who have basically merged with these egregores who use technology to upload themselves into the minds of humans, basically, because they built the systems. These are the ideas that power these egregores are the ideas that power civilization. And so when you're just feeding these things all this psychic energy and physical energy, because we actually, you know, work physically to make these things like transhumanist technology or whatever. Um, we're literally just basically like our phone is screaming, I'm right here. Intercept and walk onto my signal to the satellite. That's what civilization is to these things, because they're the ones who built it, and we continue to power their egregores and beliefs. But this is actually what the Tower of Babel is about. This is what Iberborian and I talked a little bit about the historical sense of the Tower of Babel. I think when he's talking about the tree, I think he's talking about something even more ancient from before civilization. But the Tower
Like
of
a
Babel,
world tree or something?
yeah, I mean the world trees, you know, like they're basically the big mountains that look like stumps. They say.
Allegedly.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about them. Besides,
I can see why they do that, because there are, when you look at trees, and then you look at these stones, they look almost exactly the same. So I can see why they would make that kind of pareidolia kind of connection.
I personally don't know. I don't know enough to confidently say anything about it.
Me neither. So
But I do know that that the tower was a real place that they called Borsippa, that basically exploded or something. They don't really know what happened to it because the remains of the mud bricks that were there are vitrified, so they turn to glass and burn at very high temperatures. So a smokeless fire, like you were just describing, could very well have happened there. But basically, what this was about was you had this dude Nimrod, and I'm just going to tell you my interpretation of what I can tell what Nimrod was really about as unbiasedly as I can. I think that he's a combination of several people, which include Enmerkar, Hammurabi, and Sargon. And these people basically built civilization to be bigger than ever. They basically realized that civilization is powered by these egregores, and they thought if they can take control of the egregores and make them work for them, like similar to Solomon, but they didn't have no blessing, they were just going to take it themselves, then they could solve civilization. But all they did, like if you look at Sargon, all he did was he took the city-states that were there before and just totally beefed them up through a centralized authority that he commanded. So way more emphasis on military, way more emphasis on war. He spent 56 years of his life on a continuous campaign putting down rebellions in the Akkadian Empire, Sargon. And then if you read the other dude, Enmerkar, like in Enmerkar in the Tale of Arata, you have this king who's sitting around and making demands to all these people, who is saying, you're going to send me resources and manpower so I can build my construction project. And then there's one of them, Arata, the king of Arata, who receives a cuneiform tablet, which he couldn't read. And this is basically, I'm pretty sure, where the Tower of Babel myth comes from, because this guy couldn't read this tower or this tablet. He couldn't recognize the king's authority, and therefore the communication was stalled, because there was a universal language in this time, and it was cuneiform. So something happened where either they just chose to just stop recognizing the cuneiform and pretend they couldn't understand it, or they genuinely couldn't understand it. The result was the same. The king's word was not understood, and the building project basically ceased. But there was something Hyperborean sent me about how there was a serpent in the tower, and the serpent is analogous and a metaphor for frequencies and waves, and so the egregore would be a frequency and wave of a form or a sense. So basically, Nimrod was just buddies with this serpent in the tower, which was basically the god of the tower, which would have been Nabu, who was the god of writing. And it was called Tongue Tower as well. That's what Borsippa translates to. They don't know what happened, but eventually, I guess something happened with this serpent and Nimrod, and the tower just blew up. He couldn't control it, is really the true meaning of the story. You can't control these things. Like the Lord of the Rings can't wield the ring to destroy the systems. I post a wiki article for Borsippa. It should also be noted that there are actually 2 Towers of Babel. Borsippa is the one where the events happened, and that's probably about 1800-ish or around 2000 to 1800 BC, probably somewhere around there it happened. And then the other Tower of Babel happened when Nebuchadnezzar built it, called Edamananke, around 500 BC. So there's two Towers of Babel. They're separated by many years apart. And also, when the Israelites are describing the tower physically, they're describing the one they would have saw in Babylon, which would have been around 500 BC. So they would have saw Edamananke. But they're describing the events of the first tower.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Gnostic Informant. Thank you for watching. Appreciate that. Blessings. Yeah, that's crazy stories. Never heard that before in my life. So I have very little to comment on that one. Right up. But yeah, I didn't know it was that deep. A Tower of Tongues and the Snake God. Yeah, that's real shit. That's heavy metal right there. Right, so yeah. So I greatly appreciate you guys, and I greatly appreciate Dom. Obviously, he's always laying down some interesting stories and whatnot. Yeah, of course, yeah, good shit. Definitely. And we'll pop in on this in a minute. We'll take a little musical interlude, and then I'll either be back with some Orwell or we'll drop the link, get somebody else in here. We'll try to chop it up with you guys and see what it do. But yeah, it's been a very interesting conversation for the past hour. Yeah, if people would like to join, right? If you have thoughts about nature, technology, God, is God technology? Is nature God? Right? Did man create God? Is nature creating man? Right? Is nature intelligent? Right? Is nature the main intelligence in the universe, or is it God? Right? Is God separate from nature? And where does technology fit in to either God, nature, or man? Right? Those are the main questions that we're dealing with here on the Machine Lies. And of course, we're trying to meld technology and spirituality, right? And and what it takes. So yeah, blessings to the people. I greatly appreciate your time. Yeah, God is God. I appreciate that answer. Nature, yeah, natural intelligence is the OG spark. So we got pretty interesting views. I appreciate you guys, right? But yeah, so we'll see what it takes. And yeah, this is a really good song. I just picked a random song, but yeah, I really like this song, and I hope you guys appreciate the video that I stole from the internet. Right? It's a remix of Future Sounds of London. So yeah, but it's a pretty trippy video. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we do whatever we want here. We're not monetized. We don't plan to be monetized, and so on and so forth. I have hundreds of hours of talks I've given on Nietzsche, Confucianism, Plato, feminism, all sorts of things. So go check those out. And obviously, the main things we're talking about is Uncle Teddy, Jacques Ellul, Henrik Skolimowski, Lewis Mumford, Dr. David Skirbina,
Yes, sir.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau, just those guys, right? Just those, right? Those guys.
Spend a lifetime on those guys.
Yeah, you could just spend a life just on those guys, right? Because they are the main focus here. And of course, that's why we're looking at lots of different ideas from Road to Vegan Pier, where he critiques the globalists, the socialists, the capitalists, and all the technophiles, the celebrators of progress, right? That I critiqued in the opening that I gave, right? So blah blah blah, right? I appreciate you guys. Blessings.
In tomorrow I see no promise, and yesterday was like today.
Woke up, got up, near 11 o'clock, butt naked except I was wearing my socks. And that's cool, cause most of the time this floor is cold. Stand up and stretch, look around this mess. My place has been a cave since she left me. Make my way to the kitchen, start the coffee. Then dip to the bathroom, begin the triple S and wash the previous evening off me. Now out the shower, get dry, shove a Q-tip in my ear. Well, what do we have here? It appears as if a piece of me has got motivation. Ain't nothing wrong with a little morning masturbation. Fresh, dressed like 50 cents, clean and awake, now I'm ready to commence. Spark up the caffeine and nicotine binge, and that's pretty much the pattern of how the day begins. And I write for an hour, maybe half hour more. Then I put on my shoes and grab my key for the door. Put my headphones on for this world I ignore. Trek down the street towards the record store. Hey bro, how you doing? Anything new today? Man, how you been? It's the same old same again. Well then, I'll be gone friend, I'll see you around. And I'm out, destination uptown. In the summertime, the women wear a lot of skin, and if I sit in one spot, I can take them all in. Sometimes I even talk to see if I can make one grin, and if not, it's cool, I ain't gonna take it personal. It's cool. From Ann Landers to Annie DeFranco to Orphan Annie, I love all women, but most of them just can't stand me. I don't know, maybe it's my hair or my clothes, or maybe she noticed that you was digging in your nose. Either way, it's okay, I wasn't trying to get laid, I just wanted to say, I hope you have a great day. And then she stopped with a smile that began to blush. Here, take my number, call me up, I come over and make you lunch. I got up and headed down towards the bookstore to check the titles that my man Michael's got me looking for. My visit was short, cause I just couldn't feel that cat behind the counter acting like I'm here to steal. So I dipped back out into a cloud of tattoos, pierced body parts and colorful hairdos. And I questioned, did Babylon resemble this? Are we getting any closer to the end of the list? A sensuous kiss placed on apocalypse. We teach them how to make a fist but not to resist. And I'm wondering, how do we find this position? But people are people and I still love them, especially the women. Onwards to the coffee shop, maybe muddies for a refill, and some sociological studies see the junkies while they coexist with the sobers. All the bugging of eyeballs, the shrugging of shoulders. And that's when I saw her sipping the water. I wanna kiss her mom just for having this daughter. Excuse me miss, I don't mean to come across strong, but I've been waiting a while and you've been taking too long. And she smiled and I began to blush. She asked if I'd like to go to the bathroom and make some love, and I got visions of us and the mirror getting steamed. And that's the very moment I woke up from the dream. Woke up, got up, near 11 o'clock, butt naked except I was wearing my socks. And that's cool, cause most of the time this floor is cold. Stand up and stretch and look for my soul.
In tomorrow I see no promise, and yesterday was like today. In tomorrow I see no promise, and yesterday was like today. In tomorrow I see no promise.
We do the dang dang. All right. Um. So if anybody would like to say anything, if not, we'll move forward. Looks like nobody joined. Wait. Did I drop the link again? I'll drop it again. If anybody wants to join, talk to the machine lives, ask us some questions. And
Nature, I would say, is just the most basic way that the unlimited potential of, I'm just going to call it the heavens for simplicity, that the heavens has within this realm of limited potential. So you have, the heavens, which I always describe as everything happening at once. And then this limits itself in basically universes like what we have. And then nature is just the basic way that this unlimited potential unfolds within this reality or this realm. And the way it does that is through spontaneity and secular.
spontaneity and what did you say?
Secular, like cycles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like cyclical. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Close enough.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that's a precise term, anyways. But yeah, seems like a lot of that is oriented to what I was trying to say about these different ideas about time, right? You explained heaven as everything happening at once, and then the idea of limited potential or becoming, right? And then this idea of this access of understanding, um, in terms of um, yeah. So I mean, that does really relate to nature and time and how nature and time relate to each other. And of course, these are the two main, I think, ideas in Western philosophy, right?
Yeah. Can I maybe explain how I view eternity?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you have being or heavens, which is just basically this place of unlimited potential. And this is, like I say, everything happening at once. So if you have everything happening at once, where does it end? And where does it begin? There would be none, no ending or beginning, because there's no end to the amount of things that could possibly happen. So eternity is just the unfolding, which happens endlessly with no beginning or ending of this potential. It's the continuous moment now and forever, like Parmenides says.
The eternal now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there is probably different aspects of time, I think that all different types of time are happening at once, right? So as many ways as time can be explained. Like, for example, right, like the moment obviously exists, right? And in the moment, there's obviously no change. So there's this sort of sphere of, I guess how you would say eternity, right? But then there's got to be a sphere of, you know, uh, no beginning or no ending, but, sort of an infinite plane of time passing. So there is a course, right? And obviously, this would not really comport with infinity that well because, as we've seen, infinity cannot be traversed. So they say, so this idea that if you start somewhere, there has to be a finitude to the point of just starting, right? So this idea of linear time would have to exist within a framework where time at least began at some point, right? Because in order to go back all the way, you'd have to have it start somewhere, right? So there's a sense in which linear time works if you start counting from a particular point, right? And then there's the spiral time, which is actually just, you know, uh what I like to call it is, um you know, past and present and future intersecting at random points. So if you think of past, present, and future as like three like DNA strands, and they sort of like, unfold, and within the schema of the linear time, there could be a structure to the linear time in which the past and present and future intersect at key points, right? And that causes a overlying structure to emerge between the various points of relation, and the 3 points previously described, you could see it as a sort of a 3D, or, I guess that might be like topological in some sense, right? And then you can finally extrapolate to, so you could see like time as like sort of topology, right? And in which past, present, and future intersect. And then you could think of like the idea of not eternity, right? But um, you know, because see, Nietzsche did not believe in Parmenides, right? He was a huge supporter of Heraclitus, and he thought that, so his idea of eternal recurrence, it negates time, but in the sense that there is no time. He's saying that, that like the road up and the road down are the same, essentially, as Heraclitus said. So, in terms of movement, there's no movement forward, right? There's obviously the place where we came from, and we have to eternally return to that spot, right? So there's this idea of eternal recurrence, which I'd say, in a similar fashion to Heraclitus, it sort of denies movement, but or there's a problem with movement, in a sense that, you know, all forms of becoming are sort of interrelated, and in that sense, you know, the change and the changeless merge, you know, and become submerged through time in a form of eternal recurrence, right? And yeah, so there's many different, and I think maybe all sorts of times exist. Maybe perhaps those are the various forms of time that I can perceive, but you know, there's different types of. It's like how different types of space or different forms of nature exist. We previously mentioned heaven, right? Heaven could be a different space, right? But it exists here, right? There's no other place, so to speak, and that points to this Zeno's paradox of, you know, of space, right? That everything is happening in something or on something, right? So where's space, right?
Yeah, space. Space, I think, is the universal constant. It's just a matter of what is that space, or what is in that space. Yeah, but you talk about different types of time, and I think that, I'm gonna have to go with Parmenides again. And whatever we can think of, if it's conceivable, it must be possible somewhere, or else we would not be capable of even conceiving of such a notion. So, any which way you can imagine time goes must be possible. That's funny, hyperbole.
Yeah, he also said this, where he said, "Shout out to my Cassite Warriors." I think he meant to say warriors, and unless Wario, because I know Wario is like, I don't know, he's like in Russia or something, so maybe Wario is somehow related to like Hyperboreanism. But Borsippa is not forgotten. Nimrod will return, bow drawn, aimed at the heavens with vengeance. Oh, sweet, 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 sweet baby Jesus.
Baby.
King Stephen, bow down to Dolphin Jesus.
You should be seeking this knowledge to expose evil. That's something Christians are supposed to do.
We don't we don't seek knowledge. That's Gnosticism.
That's Gnosticism.
Man,
And of course,
now I forgot what I was going to say.
And of course, we had the Gnostic informant made by Machine Bob. Yeah, exactly. Check it out. Blessings.
We got to be like Frodo and cast the machine into the fire from which it came. As I stated, Nimrod, I think, was just the dude who wanted to control the systems. That's what I think of him. And while his intentions were good, the effects of his actions, terrible.
Terrible.
Oh, when you said Nimrod, not Rosario, but the Nimrod, right?
The Nimrod. Yeah.
Okay. A little confused for a second.
That's who Hyperborean's talking about too, because he mentions Borsippa.
Yeah, he's got like he's gonna come back with a vengeance or some shit.
Hyperborean said he thinks he's some sort of archetype. But the Kassites, they're from the Sumerian area, I think near Anatolia, or I think between Anatolia and Samaria. Mountain people. Yeah. I don't really know how they connect. We'd have to ask him. kind of interested in that actually.
Yeah, a lot of great philosophers and thinkers from Anatolia. And it hardly gets mentioned, right? You got people from Heraclitus to John of Ephesus to Paul of Tarsus, you know, to all sorts of thinkers and scholars and, you know, people from Turkey, right? So Turkey's been just as significant as North Africa, right? And the Middle East and Asia, right? And all those sort of places that sort of get left out of the development and so on and so forth. People tend to focus on Greece and then Europe. And so part of the understanding is developing a firmer grasp on just world history, geography, right? And figuring out what the at least what the common narrative is, right? Because then you can start to try to poke holes in it, right? If you don't even know what they're saying, right? Then and there's a bunch of people that, you know, obviously they don't like to, you know, read primary sources, right? They simply will watch videos and, you know, and watch movies and stuff, and, you know, you're not a serious person, you know. You know, if you're not reading any books of philosophy, any books of science, any books of history, any books of theology, you know, you're just watching a bunch of shows and listening to the AI computer, right? And you know, and reading a bunch of fiction, right? And a bunch of make 'em ups and all that type of stuff. And of course, all of the philosophy and the science and the history is 90% of it is made up. That's the fucking point, right? So, you know, and if we begin to investigate, right, we have to poke holes in the general thesis. And of course, when we start to do that, certain types of people start to show up, right? And that's when we can start to have a real conversation, you know, about the issues.
What I do is I watch videos and then look up what they're saying.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good. That's a good way to do it too. You know, but you know, and there's people who are wholesale just watching the videos and absorbing the information, and of course, that is a horrible way to watch even a movie, right? Is just allow it to sort of allow the information to wash over you, right? Obviously, reading a book like that, right? You could be sort of open yourself up to all sorts of, you know, secondhand information, you know, and of course, this is a great way to become propagandized very quickly, right? Is to just turn your brain off and intake information that's designed to impact you when your brain's turned off. Right? So, yeah, don't, you know, you know, yeah, exactly. Discernment.
That's what they call brainwashing, probably.
Yeah. You know, discernment and critical thinking, and of course, you know, and so on and so forth. This is the major thing that we're engaged in, and I think I will maybe, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Dom. Are you gonna say something? Or
I think that's how some people view me, what I was talking about. Yeah, I heard.
how do you mean?
Well, I've heard two people say that, you know, there's all these people trying to get their voices out. And some people come along and cloud them because attention is so limited. And they were basically saying, like, my syncretism of physics and the Bible is like a waste.
Yeah, they would say that.
Well, I've only some people said that, but well, I'm just saying that what you're saying about certain people, they would look at us and say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you got to put up or shut up. And this is the thing, is like the people are there, right? We are here. The link is open, right? If you have challenges, I mean, I've appeared on dozens of these people's shows, right? And offered them my views and takes on a number of issues. I've allowed them to come and challenge me wholesale on any topic, right? Be it my personal beliefs. I've even engaged questions on those things, right? Or things that I talk about on the show, or, or any range of ideas. And of course, we've debated all sorts of theological viewpoints, all sorts of philosophical viewpoints, all sorts of views in terms of politics and society, and what's good and beneficial for politics and society. And of course, I've studied a number of political texts, right? I'm actually quite conversant with, political science, right? And so on and so forth. I'm quite conversant in philosophy. I'm not as conversant with history and science as I'd like to be, right? I'm way better at history than I am science, right? And so on and so forth. I'll just go ahead and admit that, right? And yeah, I mean, we bring all these things to the table. We've explored all these viewpoints, and of course, you know, the thing is that you know, uh, we've actually challenged and debated and had conversations with some top personalities, right, on the interwebs. And of course, their fans and dozens of people, they know about our existence, right? So, why they are just simply just great big fat, what's, right? And refuse to challenge, refuse to invite. We've not been invited to any shows, right? Other than the missing link with Jesse Howell and and I'm pretty sure like he invited like everyone that was in the space at some point. So we were not special, right?
Yeah.
And everybody got like 2 hour show and stuff. So it's like so yeah, I mean, we've been on dozens of shows. You wouldn't believe how many shows we've been on, right? We've been around, right, in dozens of chats and shows, and people just simply refuse to engage with the main topics of the show, right? So, I mean, it is just staggering the lack of um, correspondence, right, with anyone that doesn't already participate and isn't totally an unknown person. There has been no major networks or groups that correspond with the material here. They just simply just do not want it, right? So, and we've went far and wide, right, to try to, correspond with people, right? So, it's just simply not going to happen, folks. Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath, right? Now, critiques of technology, right? We should be able to get or procure guests that we know will offer very good critiques, right? In terms of, the world technological system. We are in contact with few people. We can bring a couple people on to have huge discussions on those issues, some well-known people, and of course, I think they will be willing to talk. They usually are, right? And then so we can proceed from there with the show material. But other than just exploring the handful of critiques from the very limited range of experts in the areas of either you know philosophy of technology or critiques of the technological system, or any of those issues, right? Obviously there's a wide range of guests that we could bring on, but for the other people, right? And of course there are going to be several groups of people, right? Namely anarchists, occultists, environmentalists that totally don't understand the critique of technology, right? There's going to be people that are, um, anarchists, right? That are going to think that the entire game of fighting against, a world technological system is in some quest to liberate man. And of course they're perfectly willing to form their own society and sort of leave civilization to rot on its own. These are the people that want to just go and form their own little community, and of course become sitting ducks for some you know some drone hovering over them to wipe them the fuck out, right? So these people are sitting ducks, right? We're talking about the Amish, or the people that want to create a society within a world technological civilization that can mediate itself away from technology, right? Some of these people are going to become sitting ducks, right? They're going to set themselves up for destruction. The rest of the people, right, that are occultists and think that, oh, we're going to spiritually awaken mankind to become one with nature, and they're going to use the technology for good because, they're going to destroy the, earth, and the point is to just destroy nature and leave it all behind, and totally sidestep the issue of man's enslavement under the world technological system, right? And oh no, it's about spiritually liberating ourselves from nature and the material world. All that is a side goal, right? Yeah, you can play that game, if you want, on your own fucking time, right? But right now we're under the enslavement of a world technological system, right? Thirdly, these people who are environmentalists, right, who want to be do-gooders and they want to save the earth, and they want to stop everything from happening, stop the destruction, and throw yourself in front of the bulldozer and all this stuff. These people are just, they are uh good-hearted fools, right? And of course the thing is that they're the first ones that are going to be wiped out, and they're basically trying to plead with the system for solutions to all of their problems in the world, right? And of course these are the first people that all the vegans, all the people that are, environmentalists, right? These people do not care about opposing, technology. They just want to save everything, and they want to do good and all this stuff. And it's not about the evil in the world, and about, all these things. So, I mean, all of these people are going to sidestep the goals, right? And the major problems and the areas that we're, sort of dealing with here. And of course, as we've described, politics, culture, philosophy, science, religion, right? All of these things are driven and controlled and mediated by the world technological system, right? So, which one of these things is going to be a solution to the problem itself? None of them. None of them will be solutions to the problem, right? So, we need to think beyond all of these fake solutions to the problem tons of fake solutions that people offer. Right? They want you to join a club. They want you to be an intellectual and stop caring about the poor people. Stop caring about the destruction of wild nature. Leave your traditional framework behind and create this grandiose new vision of the world. Fuck these people. Fuck their groups. Right? Honestly, I'm not joining that shit. You can go fuck yourself. Right? This is the thing. Is like, it's time to end all that shit. Right? It's time to go back, right, to our cultures, our people, our understanding of living in harmony with nature, and stop all this petty bullshit trying to create your own vision with your fucking AI computer. Wake the fuck up. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it comes down to a combination of all those solutions plus plus actually trying to slow the system down through their own bureaucracy. You see, the system has laws and they're kind of like gears. So if you could stall the gears by holding them accountable to their own standards, then it would clog the gears because they're going to be forced, even though they don't care and they won't do anything really, but they're still going to be forced to read all the complaints that the people are sending them because their bureaucracy demands it. And then I think, maybe I'm wrong, that this would make the people like the Amish less of a sitting duck because then the machine is stalled.
Oh yeah, well, the people that aren't conditioned by the world technological system, right? They are obviously going to have a greater chance for survival, but that's not the greater point I was making. The Amish, they still have to vote on what types of technology they allow, and of course, they have no dividing line where they say that this is the cutoff point, right? So they are living as affected by the world technological system. They just have to mitigate the effects to a large degree, right? So they're not unaffected by these changes, right? So to think of the Amish as isolated, they are a society within a society, right? That is a technological civilization, right? That allows them to exist, so that is the brutal truth behind it, right? Now, so is that a solution? Right. I'd say we need to think of better, more comprehensive solutions, right? Like what level of technology is acceptable in the first place? And I think that's a good point to start, and then figure out how we can develop a community based on an acceptable level of technology where they don't have to rely on large scale technology, right? Because then they will have to rely on external forces, the rule of experts. It will cause the destruction of their traditions and cause their resources to be used up in the process of them trying to co-opt their culture and society to adapt itself to the machine. And it's happened time and time again. So how do we mitigate this?
Right.
And
I just thought of something, then something happened that just made me forget. Someone drove by.
It's that. Yeah. It's all good.
Oh, right. It's not about isolation. It's about self-sufficiency. Because the more people that are self-sufficient, And if the people who aren't self-sufficient are holding the government to their own standard, at least in the United States, then the people who are self-sufficient will be left alone. Or at least they'll be left alone more so than if, no one cares about the state their government is in. So really, I think it's just about slowly removing the power source of the machine, which is the people. And I'm pretty sure that Scribina has like 100-year vision to scale back technology, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what I envision as well. But the focus isn't so much on technology. It's more so focused on giving each generation a chance so that they can better make decisions for themselves without being burdened by the previous generation and their decisions. Like people blame the boomers and stuff like that. Remove as much as of this blame and the source of it as possible.
Hey, no way, that's age discrimination now. This one particular age group, we're not going to be specific about, but they're on way too much medication and don't know how to drive. And what else? Oh, they seem to only watch mainstream media news. And yeah, that's anyway. They're always saying stuff like such and such is our greatest ally. Yeah.
Sad
Yeah.
trombone.
Yeah. Indeed, sad trombone.
It's not their fault, right? And we don't have to have
Spoken
them.
like a Gen X.
That's up.
They don't need to change anything about themselves. It's just that the systems they empowered in their life that they built and worked for should not burden future generations. That burden needs to be removed.
Well, I mean, a much simpler way of putting it is like, look, I didn't vote for any of this shit. Okay, I don't agree to be 38 or 39 trillion in debt. I don't, I in all generations voted for things that benefits the people, and instead we have gotten the exact opposite. And so like that's a big part of the reason why I don't vote, because of that one thing. Well, I've always kind of had this thought, but Joe Cool was able to put it into words really well. He's like, if you vote for somebody, that means that you like consent to what they're trying to do to you. And I don't consent to nothing. I don't have consent to having my rights stripped away. I don't consent to spending fucking Team America World Welfare Office. I don't want to be that, like.
Oh, Cecil, they didn't manufacture consent from you?
Nah, dude, no. They have never done that to me, not one time.
Yeah, let's I'm almost 2 hours into this. Let's try to start shutting this down. We'll be back tomorrow. I greatly appreciate you guys. I want to keep these ones very short, like how this one is more experimental. So we never got to any text, right? We've been just having a great conversation, and I greatly appreciate you guys. And obviously Cecil's a long-time caller, and I'm sure he'll be back tomorrow. He'll be back on tomorrow, Cecil.
Hey, yeah, I was reading some Alul, man. That guy seems like he's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
shit.
cool.
Cecil's reading Alul.
Yeah. LL Cool Alul. So yeah. Ladies love Cool Alul. But yeah, Teddy has the only remedy as long as there are quote unquote others who are pro tech. You can't win. We got to kind of put the kibosh on the sort of anti tech state, like just that as a statement, because I guess we have a potential of being put on an FBI watch list. So no boy, no, we are simply just scholars and researchers. We do not want to antagonize.
I've got to say anyway, that's exactly what the communists think. They think you can't have communism until all the capitalist systems are destroyed, and that's why they always fail. You have to learn.
It's all good. We're under construction, but yeah.
We have to learn to coexist with the people around us as best we can.
True.
Capitalism is pretty organic, bro. Like communism isn't really. I mean, we're always good. There's always going to be some semblance of like barter or trade or free market, just like human nature, you know. But communism is like this weird shit where you want to like starve your own people to death all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad because it relies on there being no capitalism for it to succeed. And how do they do that? How are they going to force everyone in the world to not do that? It's just an impossible task. That's why I say you have to focus on yourself and what you can control and not worry about others.
How stoic of you.
Well, look how it's worked out for them.
Well, you were saying earlier about how some people might be left alone. I just wanted to say, like, it just depends on how psycho these quote unquote elites are. I mean, they seem pretty psycho to me.
Yeah, but they need us more than we need them.
For now, they do.
No, even with their Jason's group technology and whatever else they have, they still will need us. And there will still be people who resist them. And I think that in the end, they'll be destroyed. Personally, I don't think.
I mean, they are psychos. They're schizoid because they need us, but also at the same time, they get their Malthusian urges.
Exactly. And they use their urges to destroy the real world around them. And eventually, the real world, which is far greater than they are, is going to react in a way that is bad for pretty much all the humans.
Oh,
and
for
eventually,
sure.
there will come a time when people realize the true source of the problem and act.
The earth will kill you if you try to kill it.
Yeah, and this is what Revelation's all about. You know, you got the woman and the serpent. The serpent's trying to kill the woman. You know, the way I look at it is basically it's like no different from a large empire trying to weed out insurgents. You know, you're going to have this huge technological system, but there's always going to be resistance. They can't kill the woman. And that's from Revelation 12. That's the video I made it. The one I made the video on. But it won't last forever.
Yeah, where are we gonna send you guys? You know,
I'll just say this before I get off: is
yeah, blessings, Dom. I greatly appreciate you joining the show today and all your contributions. It's been heavy stuff. Honestly, you know, yeah, deep stuff. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, blessings, brother. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, all you guys. Yeah, Cecil. You know, Reddington. You know, I greatly appreciate you guys' time. You know.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Yeah.
next time on this show about Babylon, you should read Hosea from the Bible, which talks about when Babylon will end. And it basically just says Babylon will end when God wants it to end.
Babylon shall fall.
Yeah.
I was just thinking some Rastafarian, because the Rastafarians, the reggae people, they like to talk about Babylon in their music a lot. But I don't know why that stuck out in my mind. But yeah.
It's definitely a major recurrent theme for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting religion, for sure. I have looked somewhat into it, and yeah. I mean, they are somewhat considering themselves to be of a sort of descendant from Jews and Christians to a certain degree, but they do have some syncretistic elements. Like, for example, uh, the vegetarianism taken in by the Hindus and some of the Hindu practices. So they have, and of course, they are a modern sort of interpretation. So I think they're quite recent. And so on and so forth. So yeah, so interesting stuff. Yeah, Rastafarian. Now, obviously, reggae itself. If you look up Lee Scratch Perry, right, and others, right, very innovative. And so on and so forth. So yeah, so obviously I'm a huge fan of Lee Scratch Perry and his sort of musical creations. And yeah. But yeah, you could get lost looking at his music, looking at the music of Sun Ra, looking at some of these jazz musicians and some of their work. I mean, it is just wild stuff. And of course, there's tons of art out there. There's tons of philosophy out there. There's tons of occult manuscripts and themes and things that are just very, very interesting to look at and study. And 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 of course, that's a great portion of my leisure time is spent in that way. So I greatly appreciate you guys for sharing your insights. And yeah, would would anybody else like to say anything? You know what I'm saying?
Good night. See you guys again.
Yeah, blessings, Dom.
Easy.
Yeah, peace, brother. Yeah, what about you, Cecil?
Sorry. I just realized that I'm actually inside of the ghetto right now, and then I need to roll my windows up. Sorry. I totally missed the Walmart, even though I was like a block away from it. I don't care. I just need to leave. No. So what? Anyway, I had some. I have a lot of time to like think because I drive a lot. So there's a lot of time for me spent in contemplation. And then, like, so I had to think of these questions that I want to ask you, but they never seem to like reappear in my brain when I'm actually around, like talking to you and stuff. So
write them down. Yeah, write them down. Get a little notepad and write them down. But yeah, if you're listening to Alul, would definitely love to hear your thoughts. There's a channel called In the Agora that posted an audio book of the Technological Society Now, of course, if you look at our previous 100 or so shows, we've discussed several aspects of the technological society in grave detail. So you guys would be happy to know that. But yeah, all right. So anything else, guys? Blessings.
So the Technological Society is a book that is written by Jocko Willink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, so
Do not seek the treasure.
yeah, blessings. All right, guys. Yeah, so thank you for joining us here on the Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies, and we'll be back tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. So come and join us again. And yeah, you got any more questions and stuff, we would love to answer. Of course, blessings to all the people. And yeah, we'll continue our presentation of the material. Now, we have several texts that I want to go through, too many to name, so we'll just kind of leave it. But in the previous days, we have looked at Orwell and Walden and Samuel Butler and tons of different things in an attempt to review the major themes of the channel. In addition, we've looked at Shang Tzu and Karl Marx and different thinkers throughout history. So yeah, I greatly appreciate your time. And yeah, so yeah, we'd love to talk to you soon. And yeah, here is two of my favorite songs here that I think are they're representative of how I feel about a lot of things. So I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, enjoy the music, and yeah, talk to you guys soon. Blessings.
Yeah. Yo, perfection, flawless, masterpiece, no mistakes. Back in the 1800s, I was burned at the stake. Metaphor, Mephistopheles, degrees I've achieved. The brain fluid it takes to believe would equal the 7 C's. I could reveal the true name of God. You go insane upon hearing it. Release enough winds to blow down pyramids. I'm the Michelangelo of syllables. Since I freestyle Genesis, been biblical. That's something you gotta give yo. Since born in my mama vaginal sauna, as a sonogram, I've been fond of phonics. It's ironic, even as an embryonic. Fed through an biblical. Don't that sound biblical? I've been a terror since I terrorist out of that uterus. Evil plans are made to defeat us as a fetus. Though now I walk in infamy. As a child they had an infamy. Was raised with guns and infantry and diapers in an infancy. The childhood of a hood that was raised in a hood. Cops said put your hands in the high sky. Threw my hands down in the high hood. Can't whine or drink wine. 9 planets planned it till it became apparent my parents shouldn't have been a parent. State to state we ransom. I wasn't worth no ransom. Money won't you handsome? A nigga wasn't handsome. Raised a mind like Charles Manson's. Knew I was some man's son, but which one? That made me strong, created my poison tongue. Perfection, flawless, masterpiece, no mistakes. Back in the 1800s, I was burned at the stake. Metaphor, Mephistopheles, degrees I've achieved. The brain fluid it takes to believe would equal the 7 C's. I could reveal the true name of God. You go insane upon hearing it. Release enough winds to blow down pyramids. I'm the Michelangelo of syllables. Since I freestyle Genesis, been biblical. That's something you gotta give in to. Why you cut school? Cause you ain't feel too good. I cut school cause my cuts ain't heal too good. Through all the physical abuse, my mind escaped through the gift of wordplay. I memorized encyclopedias and dictionaries. Anthems from antonyms, harmonies from homonyms. Created cinema from synonyms. Living to eliminate that illustrious life you living in. Wrote rhetoricals and rhythms. I could paralyze with a parable. Make rhymes out of religion. Crucify you with a prefix or suffocate you with a suffix. Wrote lectures so infectious it's known to infect the listeners. Who dissing us? You'll punctuate. I punctuate. My karma's the comma to put you inside of a coma. Hyphen, dot, dot, semicolon. Leave you semi-swollen question mark. You pregnant or you not? I love you, period. To sum it up, language is my essence. Fucked up in all my adolescence till my mom was adolescence. Laws are still convenient, still I robbed a convenience store. Love mom, fuck mom, shit I ain't love me no more. Mentally it didn't register, bitch. Empty the register, bitch. You just a cashier, bitch. Give the cashier, I'll shoot you when you're cabbage. Hijack a getaway cab, bitch. Words ain't making me no loot, don't change no Dow Jones average. Regardless, they stole my innocence. The judge sentenced me to 3 lifetime sentences to write my life in times and sentences. Art my dark arch nemesis. They want me off the premises. That's what the premise is. Locked on a tier when you can't shed a tear at. Studied more Shakespeare than any African Shakespeare at, and the whole world fear that, and it hurts. I got caught killing time, but then I got away with words. Yo, perfection, flawless, masterpiece, no mistakes. Back in the 1800s, I was burned at the stake. Metaphor, Mephistopheles, degrees I've achieved. The brain fluid it takes to believe would equal the 7 C's. I could reveal the true name of God. You go insane upon hearing it. Release enough winds to blow down pyramids. I'm the Michelangelo of syllables. Since I freestyle Genesis, been biblical. That's something you gotta give into. People can say whatever they want about me, but agree that I am the wordsmith. I am the wordsmith. They can try to reveal everything that I achieve, but agree that I am the wordsmith. I am the wordsmith. Well, the words is deep in my veins. Trust me to silence my pain. I am the wordsmith. Oh, I am the wordsmith. Even if I never move a million units, it's my blessing how I do it. I'm the wordsmith. I'm in a game full of morons. They keep putting more on. I too tall the Torah. I'm in the core of the Quran. The mind's what I represent, and MCs better represent. I'm taking this rap and bullshit to the fullest extent. I have reservations while Indians are on reservations. Told the Board of Education I was born of education. As far as disco, I leave you deader than disco. Rocking sex and violence over sax and violins through your mind's camera lens. You in need of an ambulance. I'm knocking to the asphalt. It's your own asphalt. Your last thought. I never sell myself short to be famous. And taking it up to ain't us, just ain't us. The world could get the penis of this classical trained pianist. My P.O. was P.O.'d, handed a cup, told me the pianist, the linguist, musician. My college positions, my intuition told me that I wouldn't be a thought intuition. My education's all on my own, so I might have been born yesterday, but I rhyme like there's no tomorrow. Perfection, flawless, masterpiece, no mistakes. Back in the 1800s, I was burned at the stake. Metaphor, Mephistopheles, degrees I've achieved. The brain fluid it takes to believe would equal the 7 C's. I could reveal the true name of God. You go insane upon hearing it. Release enough winds to blow down pyramids. I'm the Michelangelo of
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we all as a people inherently and historically opposed to secret societies.
Worshipping Jesus, praising Allah, they pray in the Buddha. It's a holy war in the age of computers, revenge of the Arabs. Castro probably dying in Cuba. His brother through marriage, his destiny is Bao the ruler. The English is with us, North Koreans testing the waters. They sons and they daughters are training for American slaughter. The planet is hotter, getting hotter, hotter than lava. If I had $1 for every time they mention Osama, the wicked, the winning, the cunning, the coming. They humming, the gunning, the Jews are dropping bombs and they blowing up hundreds. Chavez is tripping, Venezuelan oil conglomerate. Up in Alaska, the pipeline is polluting the continent. Hell with the Vatican. Benedict is conflict with faggots is. He don't want them changing or arranging of marriages. Babies and cabbages twisted by domestic disturbances. Urgent emergencies freaking all your neighbors and urban kids. Hell with their purposes. Gasoline is peaking and rocketing. Is the Arab and Israeli conflict really the problem? Just look at Obama. He shares an ancestor with Cheney. We living in Harvard. The television wilding for ratings. I'm tired of waiting. I got a feeling something go happen. Ain't nobody skating. I dreamed about the splitting of atoms. I really can't fathom the chemicals our food is containing. They grabbing our children and sticking them up in basic training. It's so entertaining to witness all these millions of people just gather together and worship all those symbols of evil. It's starting upheaval and gathering our secret society. Something primeval inside of me that crave notoriety. Shit on your blessings. They tortured me in school with their lessons. Sat me in front of a man and made me give him confession. This country's oppression has got us going through a recession. Your worldly possessions will all be taken soon with discretion. They killing in Burma, erasing more than half of their populace. Choppers is drifting across the Gaza Strip and they mocking us. People are screaming, the gun and busting scattered as metal. You know you ain't dreaming, it's just another day in the ghetto. Slowly killing us through cigarettes and medication. Okinawa, Hiroshima, pulmonary emphysema. Soldiers up in Iwo Jima didn't need no help from FEMA. Chosen men with battle scars. Galactic rhyme, your battle star. Poison rays that travel days. There's many ways to land on Mars. Now they killing us with cars, cause they overlook the fumes. Baby food that come in jars. Fed the infants causing doom. Hit the lights and leave the room. People running in the street. Armageddon coming soon. Microchips control your sleep. Scan your wrists and pay your debts. The sky is full of flying jets. Mixing clouds with chemicals. Amazing, we ain't dying yet. Every time you wash your hair or brush your teeth, you're dying quick. Every time you eat a hunk of steak and take a giant shit. Every time you feed your kids, I bet they are preservatives. And every time the major planets always try to murder us. The streets is full of mercenaries waiting for their time to kill. Worshipping the pyramid is found upon a dollar bill. I hope you understand for real. Again, I never say it. We only have till 2012 before they come in spaceships, 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 spaceships.
Summoned like a son of death, slumber cuddled up with the cousin undercovers of best fucking intentions. His and grimace delivered clearer from mirror reflection. Up comes your hand from the lake and takes your neck flung down to the depths. Sunk funky and loaded, you float back to the top. God, luckily you notice. Reset button engaged, stay humble and focused. Maybe this time around you stay clear the hocus pocus. Don't externalize your enemies when entering your omens. The motion of souls does not discriminate, assimilating emanations from the most levitation symbols lent to give you sages infinitely instrumental gifts from their credential cases. Infiltrate this wicked men's assembled matrix. But await, I give them hell, heaven sent, but it'll wait. This mental grace when reaching the crescendo, spinning missiles aimed at rituals of imbeciles. Just typical, the simple planes, the vain insane and little brain faces of the general slain, granite ship with lizard veins. Entering apprentices, just listen for the mythic language scattered by the Elohim. Demon scientists of ancient folklore, the story changes. Void faces of politics, living dangerous. Temples leaking on the battlefield, it's all the same to us as angel dust. Culture couldn't save another soldier if we try. So we send them to the furnace and refurbish the earth with life. Fathomless, yakking up Atlas's phantom lips, panic, abandoned bandits from amputations, mechanical salutations. Break you down like saliva. Nightlight for the Pied Piper, Sandman and the psilocybin cipher in the silence of quasars. Vacuum of brain form under rabbits rule. The magical, maniacal, majestic mankind animal. Assessing, analyzing, cool, calm, collecting artifacts of old. Letting go, dead and molded from the solar coats of comatose modern robots. So lost in soul oppression, stepping from the shadows of the Nephilim, begging for some melanin. Vexed at best, we're selling swift through elemental rifts and giving gifts from the conjured ones. Channeling the travelers, practitioners are washed in blood. Pasta flood, a cocked gun. The Holocaust is all but run its course. Carnage bound carnivores converge under the god of war. Orpheus just torn to bits by morbid men who forced the doors of our cathedrals. Evil on assignment from ourselves. This koan suplex my sanity, just binding up the spells. If inglorious Satori is afforded, only time will tell. Time will tell. To the dead sun, the dead sun. Altar of the dead sun, the dead sun. Altar of the sun, the altar of the dead sun. Red rum.
violence, come that people like we cover down, go that like copy by that like copies in my voluntary organized sound levels what's wrong. Like people go back that come like people that come out like these come that by cover governments can't cover these in my mind. Come down by these go back that copies in my violence back down. Governments can't cover these in my mind. Come that like that governments can't cover these in my mind. Cover these and cover my you style. Please come down. Please come down. Come piece come down.
Jesús.